Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. You've probably noticed the mass scale of boxes to my left. If you haven't already seen, I entered the Agora Models Big Scale Diorama contest. That was towards the end of February. And on the 9th of April, I received an email saying that they obviously liked my idea and they have selected me along with 5 other people. I've no idea who they are. I've no idea what they're doing. But I do know that from what they had, basically, all the entrants that they received, they couldn't narrow it down to a top 3, which is what they originally were going to do. So they expanded it to a top 6. And as I said, I have been selected to be one of those 6. So I'm going to put it on the channel and give you the plan, basically, of what I'm doing. Now, obviously, Agora Models have sent me this model. So thank you very much, Agora Models. Now, this was part of the contest that you would be supplied the model. If you haven't seen the details on the contest, I'll link it in the description below. And then you can read through exactly what's happening. Now, when this is done, this will actually be in the competition room at Scale Model World. That's going to be in Telford in November. So I have to get this to Scale Model World. I'm already planned on being there, so not a really big deal. But now I've got quite a large diorama to take with me, which is going to be entertaining in more ways than one. Now, you're probably dying to know what's in the boxes. If you saw my live stream, you're already going to know what model I've selected. However, I figured I'd do a bit of an introduction and also show you what happens when an entire Agora Models model lands on your doorstep. So it comes in an absolutely huge box, and you get all 12 parts in one go. The big box there is the main body, and we've got pack 1 up here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly run through pack 1, and then I'll get on and show you what my plan will be, because yeah, a lot of this might not get used in the diorama, might get used in future, but yeah, for the diorama, probably not a lot going to be used. So let's get into it. Let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop, tools in the light, screws and glue, they're holding it tight. Piece by piece, it's a builder's delight, making dreams in the still of the night. Let's get into it, let's get building now. Put it all together, I'll show you how. Screw by screw and a little glue too. Welcome to the workshop, it's waiting for you.
Right, so I've moved a couple of the boxes out of the way, but this is box 1, or pack 1, of the Agora Models model that I selected. Now, if you haven't checked out the description or checked out the competition, basically, the idea was using one of Agora Models' current models, you basically had to give them an idea, some pictures, a sketch of what you wanted to do. So I've obviously sent that in. That was end of February. It wasn't long actually before the end of the competition. I thought I'll just do it anyway. You got to be in it to win it, sort of thing. So I put my idea forward. Now I think the competition ended end of February. I'm not sure how long they debated. But it wasn't until the 9th of April when I got an email from Agora Models saying that my idea was selected. Now, because that might be because they struggled to obviously narrow it down to a top 3, and now they've gone with a top 6. But yeah, I was one of them, absolutely blown away that my idea was selected. So really, really happy about that. And it's obviously nothing to do with the fact that I can put it on YouTube, etc. It's just they liked my idea. So because it is because I do have this channel, I've decided that I will do it on the channel. Certainly as it's first Agora models build, but there's going to be a little bit different, mainly because I'm not building the model as the conventional instructions would tell you, mainly because it's part of the key of the diorama. Now, you're still going to want to know what's in this box. Unless you saw the live stream the other day, you're still potentially not going to know what's in this box, because I'm going to try and keep the title and the thumbnail a little bit obscure. Certainly not revealing what my plan is straight away. You want to know what's in the box? How about have a few guesses? Put your timestamp in the comments below. At what point you think you might have guessed what model this is. And it's going to be revealed now. It is the No Time to Die DB5. So when you get a box from Agora Models, whether it's a 12-month pack or whether you get it all in one go, this is box one. This is how it would arrive. So very nice printed box. Get this nice brochure. Let me just move that out of the way for a moment, and then we'll go through the brochure. This is my first, obviously, Agora Models build, and yeah, this is actually the first build I've had where I've had all the boxes in one go, which is pretty impressive. Certainly took me back when the guy was still on my doorstep with a huge box, wondering what it was at first. So we've got a nice little brochure here, a little bit about the car. And then if we open it up, we've got a bit more about the model, all the features it's got. So remote control, 7 kilos, 57 centimeters, and it's an official model 1/8 scale. We have all the optional extras. So we've got the spinning machine guns, mine dispenser, ejector seat and hatch. We have the command console, we have the tracking system, and we also have LED number plates. Now if I just close that one up for a moment, as I say, first Agora Models, but each one comes with the Agora Promise, which basically means that once you start a model, you will finish it. Obviously, makes it a little bit different when I've got all 12 parts sat to the side of me here. But if you're doing it on a monthly basis, they basically say they're going to make sure that you have the entire build. Obviously, we all know what happened with Eagle Moss, so certainly gives you a little bit more encouragement that you will actually be able to finish your model. And as usual for most of these things, this does open up to become an absolutely huge poster. So we have the car. Now, I think that's a little bit bigger than actual scale, but probably not far off. But really, really good. I do wish, one thing I would like is obviously really, really nice poster, but you got all these crease lines in it. I'd like for someone to come up with a way of doing these sort of brochures where the poster isn't all creased if you wanted to put it on a wall. I've got nowhere to put something this size on a wall, but still something would be nice. Certainly previously I've done that before. But that is the brochure. Now, there won't be any building today, but I will show you the pack one and what's in there, and I'll also show you the plan. So, box one. Try and work out which one this is. This is number 2. Oh, this is also number 2. It looks like 2 is in 2 parts. That says VB, so I'm assuming that just means that's number 2. We have number 7, which looks to be inner part of the door. Number 6, obviously the inner door skin. Number 3, we have another part of wheel. number 5, we have door. Number 4, we've got a tyre and centre cap of the wheel. And number 1, we have the bonnet, looking very, very nice, even with the little Superleggera badges on there. And we've also got a cloth, it looks like. You can polish your model up. So that is all the parts. Now, I'm sure you're still dying to know what the plan is. So let's get all of these put away, because believe it or not, I don't think any of these parts are going to feature in the diorama. And I can already hear you questioning why. Right, so a DB5. Now, this is the Corgi 1/32 scale, I think it is. Now, why have I bought this one up? Just because I've got it and it's a scale model. Now, although I have the No Time to Die DB5, I'm not doing a scene from No Time to Die. Now, I have to give credit to Todd, Marvel Phoenix, for this one. He knows what model I'd selected, or he guessed, pretty much. And because it was No Time to Die, he instantly went to the No Time to Die scene. One of the main scenes, obviously, for the DB5 is when you've got it spinning around with the guns out, firing and killing all the bad guys. Not what I'm going to do. Although motorizing that would have been brilliant. And you can imagine trying to swing around, 15 kilos on a central point. Although I am constrained to a meter by a meter by a meter. So with the car being over half a meter, spinning it just wouldn't work, so you don't have to have a static model. So if I'm not going to do it from No Time to Die, why didn't I select the Goldfinger one, you ask? That's the other one it's been in. No. Though this is the Goldfinger version. But what I'm actually going to be doing is the car as you saw it in Spectre. And you're thinking, oh, you featured it again, didn't it? No. Just after Bond saw the DB10, I think it was, he saw the Aston Martin off to one side. Now, the title of the diorama is going to be One Piece. Okay? The reason it's going to be called One Piece is I liked the interaction with Q and Bond, where Bond is stood at the front of a shell of a DB5, and Q says, well, that thing's taken a little bit longer to put back together. There's barely anything left, pretty much a steering wheel. And then he says, I'm pretty sure I told you to bring it back in one piece, not bring back one piece. So, my idea is, and you had to excuse the crudity of the model, I didn't have time to paint it or build it to scale. I say that, it's actually scale. So, we have a bit of a cardboard archway. And it's probably best to show you on this camera only. But the idea is that I'm going to create this archway, create a couple of walls for the interior, and on this side hopefully create the arch, and it'll be a dead end because they are dead end archways. But the star of the show is obviously going to be the car itself. Now the car is potentially going to be sat like that, but obviously it's not going to be as constructed as this one. The idea is that this is going to be up on its little dolly. So I've got a constructor dolly that will support the weight of the car. I've got to construct this archway and the tunnel behind it. I'm going to construct a little bit of a base here. These have a couple of little stanchions that come off into the ground. And in front of this, has got some columns. So the columns go up and hold a RSJ that comes out to about here, and there's an archway that goes further over. So that is my plan. So as you can tell, a lot of the car doesn't need to be constructed, and it's mainly the diorama that's going to be the star of the show. Ideally, I'd have a bond and a queue, but not really practical. At the moment, can't get hold of a Daniel Craig bond or queue in the right sort of pose. Certainly not a 1/8 scale anyway. So it's just going to be as it is. However, that has given me a little bit more scope, because effectively I can change this to any timeline I like. So in the scene, you'll see that the engine is actually on a hoist next to the car. Now, I think I might still do that, but I want to do a couple of things around it, or even at the back of some of the weaponry. So like the guns, possibly the ejector seat, that sort of thing. So if you looked back inside the diorama, you can see all the bits that would potentially make the car up. So that is the plan. Now, as I said, one of the main things that's going to happen with this is just basically almost using just the body. Now, what I will do is I'll unbox the body as well. I'll just give you a quick show of that one. Now, this is probably going to give you a bit of a sense of the scale of the project. So we've got that one at 1/32nd scale, and that's the size of the tunnel for 1/32nd scale. Now we have this one. So you can see how much bigger it's going to have to be. But this is the body of the DB5, and I have to say it looks absolutely fantastic. So the idea of this is going to be the build-up part of this. I need to put the chassis in, so I need to build up the chassis, put that in. I've had a look at a few of the screenshots, etc. Now, my guess is that Aston Martin gave Eon Productions, or whoever was making it, MGM, a bare shell of a car just as a prop. So you can't see this roof cut out. So all I'll do is I'll just put the roof panel in place. But my guess is that they gave them a stock Aston Martin shell. And what I'm planning on doing is basically having this on a dolly as if it was being reconstructed. So the paint will be there. The engine will be at a point where it's almost going in. Now, in the still that I looked at, you could see a clear gap. So it didn't look like it had any boot in place. So the boot lid will probably be missing. The bonnet will definitely be missing. It didn't have any doors on it, but it did have an interior. It certainly had a seat in it. So at the very least, I'm going to put the base in and possibly the seat. A lot of the other interior parts will probably not be going in. It will have the headlights and the indicator lights, and also the grille, because they're key parts that were in the scene. And you can see the Aston Martin badge, it's actually already attached there as well, and that was actually on there in the scene as well. So that is pretty much all the construction that's going to be needed for this vehicle. So it'll probably be one of the last things that gets done because there's not going to be a great deal to do. But the big thing is obviously going to be the diorama itself. So hopefully it will all work out well. It will be in the competition room at Scale Model World. So it will get judged by the public, I believe, as well as Agora models and IPMS. But we're going to have this at the heart of it. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below and give us a massive thumbs up. So, different style of project on the channel. Now, I've done small dioramas before, but nothing ever on this scale. It was great when it was an idea in my head. Now it's become reality. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I'm hoping I can do it all justice. But as you can see, that's my little small scale, and this is the sort of scale that we're going to be constructing it around. So I believe the tunnel is going to be something like this tall, and it's probably going to be about as wide as that. So when looking at various stills and various other behind the scenes bits, I basically just done a very basic measurement of what that arch would be, and it's probably not much wider than a garage really, but the height of it is a little bit taller. I've based that on people standing near it, also the width of the car, and how I've seen other shots and things, and say behind the scenes as well. So I'm fairly confident with the size of that. As I say, I've done this at 1/32 scale just to give me an idea of how the car looked in the archway, and I think that looks absolutely perfect. So I'm going to be basically just scaling this up to match this size. I don't fully know how I'm going to construct it all at the moment, but it's probably going to be a relatively rigid base, probably just on a wooden base, and then the rest of the structure, etc., is probably going to be sort of like foam board, that sort of thing. Obviously, you don't want anything too heavy, and hopefully, I can make it so that I can disassemble it and reassemble it out of the competition room. Just because you can imagine the size of, trying to get that anywhere would be a logistic nightmare. So this is going to be a fun one. So stay tuned to the channel, and if you want to see how it progresses, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications, and that way you won't miss out on future videos. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.